forgot to.
Oh, okay.
So, hi everybody. Sorry, we're hopping kind of in. I forgot to hit record, but Marcia's question was about casting off at the raglan armholes on the back. And you cast off 4 stitches at the beginning of that first row, stockinette stitch. You finish
Yep.
knitting that row in stockinette. Then you turn your work. You cast off 4 stitches. This is your second row now. So you cast off 4 stitches on the purl side and finish purling that row.
Perfect. And then it says decrease 1 stitch at the end of the next 3 rows. So I'll knit
Okay.
two
Re-
together.
you need to really read the pattern very carefully. Every word is every word is important. Decrease 1 stitch at each end of the
Ah,
next. So, so you have you're back on your stockinette. So
yep.
I think you were knitting the third size in, weren't you? If I
Two to three
remember.
years. Two
Oh,
to
so the
3 years.
fourth. So
Yeah.
the fourth size in. So regardless, it's all one. Decrease 1 stitch at the beginning of that next row, then decrease at the end, decrease 1 stitch at the end of that same row. So on the back, you want to make sure that you're decreasing the same on both sides.
I get it.
So it has to be each end. On the fronts, you decrease just on the side seam side, not the
I
garter
see.
stitch side, just the side
Okay.
seam side. You want to decrease. So you'll be decreasing just on one side of that. But the back, which I have here, it has to be even. So you have to decrease the same on
On both
each
end sides.
sides. Yeah.
I get it. Okay.
No problem. I messed up too. I had to take something apart because I was decreasing on the garter end. It was dumb.
But this is how we learn.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so that was the first one. And then I said, oh man, that doesn't look right. And my husband, who doesn't know, tried to help me figure it out. He grabbed a pair.
Even he knew it wasn't right.
Anyway, I just thought I'd
Oh,
tell you guys it's something bad that happened, but we can laugh about it. So,
absolutely.
and
And
it is that part too. It is that one part that I had to ask you about. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, on each end. And so then after you do that, then you do it on for your size one following fourth row. So after that, that's your first row is
Right.
then the second row is a purl, then the third row um no, I'm sorry. So you do it on that row, then you purl, that's your first row. You knit again, that's your second row. You
Okay.
you purl again, that's your third row, and then on the fourth row, you do it again. You decrease one on each end.
I get it. Ah,
So you decrease, let me say this again for everybody who's going to be listening to the and then I want to welcome you. It doesn't have your name, but I recognize you, but I can't remember your name. I'm so sorry. Um, but decrease 1 stitch at each end. So that will be a stockinette side. Here's another thing. You always do your decreases on the stockinette side, on the knit side. You
okay.
don't do it on the purl side. You always do your decreases. So if somehow you're on a purl side and you think you're supposed to decrease, knit that purl. You need to wait until you get to the stockinette side.
I get it.
So you decrease 1 stitch at the end of that row. Then you decrease, then you knit a purl row. That's one. You knit a knit row. That's two. You knit a purl row. That's three. And then on the fourth row, you're back on your stockinette and you decrease again. And
I
for your
see.
size, you just do that once. Then you do it on 7 alternate rows. So then you purl a row, and then the next row, you decrease 1 on each end. That's 1 time. Then you purl a row, then you decrease 1 on each end. That's 2 times. Then you purl a row, then you decrease 1 on each end. That's 3 times. And you do that till you've decreased 7 times.
I see. Okay.
It's all there. It's all written there very plainly. You just have to take it one step at a time, and very carefully, however you can make notes on your paper. You can say, okay, this is, you can make notes on your paper however you want, or you can use a counter. You can use 2 counters probably. For this one, you'd probably need 2 counters because you're doing it 7 times on the 4th row. So, you kind of need to, so you could say, okay, I've done it 1 time, but then I knit 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th time I do it another time. So, you can use your 1 counter for the 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, and the other counter for the number of times that you've
Decrease.
decreased.
Okay.
Is
Oh yeah,
that,
this is
or you could put
tricky.
it on paper,
Good idea.
however you want.
Okay.
Then you are supposed to have for your size 42 stitches. So if you do all of that, you will have 42 stitches. I
I get
promise. I
at
promise,
the
promise,
bottom.
promise.
Okay.
Mhm,
And then you cast that all off. Okay.
mhm. And then you cast it off so it'll be like this,
I
like
see.
this.
It's like
So
angled.
you will have done this armhole.
I get it.
That's
Okay.
what you will have done, the armhole, and then when it gets done, then you sew it on.
I see. I'm already starting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it.
I see. Okay. And this side too.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Thank
they
you
will be
so much.
identical.
And then when I start the left front, I use different size needles. I'm going to use size 3 needles.
Yeah, you go back to the 3s. You always use 3 for the garter because the garter will knit too big if you use the 6.
Okay.
It will be out of proportion.
All
This
right.
feels so good. Every time I touch it and play with it, it just
Yes,
feels lovely.
The yarn is lovely.
it
Yeah,
is.
it's just very elastic and very lovely, and it wears well and it washes well. Uh-oh, Lori's
What
here. I'm
what
not
type of
washing.
washing instruction little note would you stick in if you
I
were
would wash
teaching
it
it?
very gently in cold water. If you want to put it in the machine, you can. I sort of almost never put anything I've knitted by hand in the machine just because, but cold water, you
Okay.
can wash it in the machine and you can tumble it dry on low.
Okay.
You can. I'm not sure I would, but you can.
I know. I wouldn't either, but
You
young
can.
parents, we never know.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to fare very well if you dry it on
Yeah,
hot or high, or if and wash it on high. It's not going to fare very well. So when it says you can wash it, you can, but you just have to be
yeah.
careful with it, when you wash it. Okay, so welcome. It says Jeff's iPhone. I see you're in the car.
Yeah, that's me.
Yes,
Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty much just watching today because I missed the last one and I haven't bought the kit and I'm basically deciding if I'm advanced enough to do this one, to do this sweater. So I'm kind of listening to all the things you're saying because I can do cast on and casting off and knit purl. I've done knit together two, yarn over, and that's about it. But I haven't
You
done sleeves or anything like that, just kind of blankets and more straight. So is this getting too advanced for that
If
or
you can, if you can knit together, you understand decreases, knitting two together.
Oh, is that what a decrease is where you knit two together? I didn't.
That's one way of performing a decrease, yeah. And
Oh,
on
okay.
this one, I found that perf that performing the decrease, yeah, was the best way to do it. I'm trying to look here.
Oh, and my name's Linda, by the way. It has my
Oh,
husband's. It
you look
shows up
familiar.
Jeff. I'm
Yeah,
Linda.
you look familiar to me. Have you hopped on a
Really?
knit along before?
No, well, no, I haven't. This is the
Oh,
first one. I
okay.
mean, I've looked at the your site and all the projects and just trying to
Yeah.
decide which one is good for me to do. I had this
Well,
one,
this
or I
isn't.
think it was like a Daria sweater. That one looked simple. It was kind of a vest look. One of your other projects.
Oh, the
Can't remember.
Summit View sweater vest,
No,
Summit View
it
vest.
was more of it was sleeveless.
Oh, the
It,
Seven
it
Sisters.
no, it was light blue. It
Oh,
was real pretty. I
oh,
can't
the
remember.
Dorothea. Yes, we're having a knit
That
along
was
for
it. It
that.
started
Come,
with a
yeah,
D. Is
the
that one
Dorothea.
easy? Yeah, is that one easier than this one?
Probably, yeah, it's probably easier to follow. I was going to answer your question.
Okay, sure.
You have the technical knowledge to knit all of the stitches that are in the Amanta sweater. The
Okay,
technical, that's not the issue. The issue is knowing how to read a pattern and also knowing how to read a pattern that's not just written out in great detail. This is very concise, and if you follow it word by word, it's really not that hard, but
okay,
it would be trickier, yes, for you to do. Not because you
okay.
don't know how to knit the stitches, but you would need someone guiding you through how to read the pattern. Does that
The
make
pattern.
sense?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense because I know that can
Yeah,
be kind of tricky to decipher everything.
right. And people seem to get really stuck on it, and it I mean, I guess it's easy for me to say, so I'm going to say this, and I don't want to put anybody down that who's going to be listening or whatever because of it, but just just read the pattern and do exactly what it says and think it through,
Okay,
and it's not that hard. But
okay.
people, I guess they don't want to do that. I'm not quite
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard for people to follow directions, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah,
but
I mean, I
Linda, I
wanted
wouldn't
to,
start. I wouldn't start probably with this one. I probably
okay.
would get a little bit more, get a little bit more experience and then do it.
That was kind of my feeling when I was watching and your questions, because I want to keep advancing, but I thought maybe that might be too big of a jump that I need to just go with something a little easier, but still learning.
And here, if you want to if you want to go on, and obviously the knit along will be over after today. I was just telling everyone, if you look at your meeting chat, I put the link to the blog on our website that will I have a monthly knit along that's just an open knit along for any questions. So if you start and decide in 3, 6 months that you want to knit this and you
Right.
want help, hop on and get an answer,
Okay.
get answers to your
Okay.
questions on that. Just go to the blog on the website. In the top left-hand corner, there's a button that says blog, and go to the welcome to our monthly virtual knitting open house. And I will keep that updated with the next session that you can
Okay.
hop on.
Okay. That sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Hi, Sharon. Welcome.
Thanks.
How are you today?
We've just moved. I'm tired.
Oh,
But good, good.
oh, was it a long move, a long ways?
No, only 7 miles, but still from
You
a
know what? I
four-room
think
house into
sometimes,
like a two-room and all that.
yeah, sometimes those close moves are almost harder. I think the hardest move I ever made was about a quarter of a mile away.
Wow,
I,
yeah.
I think that was the most difficult one. So I feel for you. Lori, you want me to go over the sleeves? Absolutely, I will do that. Do you have any questions? Can you ask me just a minute? I'll get to you. Let me finish talking to Sharon here, and then I'll get to you with the sleeves. So you're knitting.
Yes, I haven't knit for a couple of weeks though because of what we've been going through. But the last projects that I've been working on were I belong to Ladies of Charity group and we make baby layettes. And I had made last year 15 baby sweaters and hats. And you know that the pattern for your sweater, which I did not get. I didn't know if we would get it, through the this or if I'd have to purchase it. But it looked like a beautiful sweater and all, easily made one piece.
It's not one piece, and
It isn't.
and I would say if you're knitting for charity, it's probably not the sweater for you because
Okay,
you have to put it together. There's, it's not going to be
one
a,
piece.
a sweater that in one piece that you're going to be able to just zip through. So I
Okay.
would probably not do it
Okay.
for
See, that's
something
that's good that you said, you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally
Very
get
good.
it. But you're welcome to stay. You're welcome to hop on. And if you ever want to knit it for somebody else, I'm here.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Sharon. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye-bye.
So, Lori, the sleeves. Can you talk to me and tell me where you're having problems with the sleeves?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, okay, I wasn't sure if I had my mic on. So I have lots of problems. I've run out of yarn. That's the
Oh,
biggest and major problem. Um, I I bought this kit many years ago, and I couldn't make head nor tail out of the pattern, so I never did it. And I think I had bought it. I thought I bought it for the 1 to 2 years, and I decided to make it in the 2 to 3. And I remember checking, and I had 4 balls of yarn, but I don't know. But anyway, I thought I sit and I try to decipher this pattern. I'm having a heck of a time. But I thought I figured out how to do a sleeve, and I did one. And I've been looking at it, and it seems awful long. It's measuring 13 inches long. So
yeah,
I'm
that's too long.
I'm
That's too
thinking I
long.
definitely messed up in this and in reading this pattern.
Yeah, you probably knit too many rows in between the increases or something, but I'm happy to help you. The pattern is let me first start with if you bought the pattern longer than a year or so ago, you'll want an updated pattern.
I did. I called the store and they sent me the brand new updated one with the ribbing
Okay.
is included. Yep. So that's what
If okay, so if you have the updated pattern, don't use the
cheat sheet.
don't don't use the cheat sheet. Just
Right.
tear it up, throw it away.
I just was using that kind of because it's not even the right size, but just kind of trying to understand how to
Yeah.
read the pattern.
That's
Because
exactly what it was meant for. I'm so glad that a lot of other people thought, oh, well, now I knit off of this, and then they get confused. No, that's not, I said clearly on it, that's not what it was meant for. But
yeah,
it does help you kind of understand how the pattern is written. Nonetheless, um, do you want me to start from the very beginning of the sleeve?
yeah, if you don't mind.
Not at all. So using the size 3 needles, you cast on, let's see, you're the fourth size.
Right.
40 stitches. Work in garter stitch for 3 rows, I mean 6 rows, sorry. And so then it will look like that.
Right.
Beginning
So
with a knit row, working with US 6 needles. Now work in stockinette stitch as follows. And again, the same as I was explaining, I don't know if you were here, but I was explaining to Marcia with the decreases, or now these are increases. um you have to do like just like the back, you have to do whatever you're going to do, you have to do it on both sides so that you end up with a normal sized
Right. I did
I mean,
that.
you don't you want to increase the same on each side is what I'm trying to say. All of a sudden my brain is
Yep.
I didn't have breakfast. I'm running out of fuel here. Okay, so increase one stitch at each end of the seventh. So just take it in steps. You don't read a long ways ahead. Increase one stitch at each end of the seventh row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in stockinette, and then on the seventh row, increase a stitch at each side, at each end. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So then it says to do it, and for you, 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I on the right one for you? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep.
And then it says one of the following eighth rows.
This is
So
where
then,
this
so
is.
then, this is where you get confused.
Yep.
So then the following eighth rows. So then if the first one was the seventh row, so you knit 6 and then increased on the seventh.
Yep.
Now this one you knit 7 and increase on the eighth. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Oh, that's all right. That's what I did. Okay. All right.
Okay.
It must be the next part that I messed up on then.
Okay. And then on the and then on 4 following 10th rows, yeah, that's probably where you got messed up.
Yeah.
So now on this one, you need to increase 4 more times. Forget about the other ones you've done. Take each one in a section. On the
Yeah.
next one, you need to increase 4 more times, and they're going to be every 10th row. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. On the 10th row, increase, and you can put a hash mark down 1. You've done it once.
Increase on the 10th row, right? Yep.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And then
And
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. On the 10th row, increase on each side, put another hash mark down. You've done it twice.
okay, I did this. Okay, I'm happy that I did this. I don't know why it's so long.
And then on it says 0 following 12th rows. So you just don't do anything more for your size.
Okay.
You should have 52 stitches, and then measure it when you're done doing that. Measure it,
Yep.
and and so I don't know how long was it when you measured it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be 9.5 inches. Mine's 13 and 13 inches. It's like 4. I think it was 13 and a half, 4.5 inches too long.
I think you must have counted the rows incorrectly. That's the only thing that you could have done is counted the rows, maybe done it 6 times instead of 4 times, or you counted wrong.
So after I finish that 10th increase on the 10th row 4 times, then it says just continue straight until it measures 9.5 inches.
Yeah, you know what I would do though?
Yep.
And I would, this is a pro tip from my experience and from seeing other people knit it. I probably would make the sleeve. I feel like this, like his measurements here are just a little bit too long for the sleeves, just a little bit.
Okay.
Like, make it maybe just 9 inches in
Yep.
total. And it's possible that when you finish your increases, you will be very close to that 9 inches, and you might not have to do much of anything. I don't know if I did maybe one row or, a couple rows. I don't think I did a whole lot.
Okay. I'll do that. Now I have my bigger problem. I think I'm gonna have to take it all out. I don't know what else to do. Um,
Yeah, you'll have to. And then your yarn problem.
yeah.
Let me get you, unfortunately, I'm
I
sure.
I contacted the store and they were looking in their inventory and they got back to me that they have this color. So I'm doing the wisteria, the purple color, but they don't have it in that dye lot. Um,
Yeah, not after that many
yeah.
years. That dye
So
lot would be gone. So,
I don't know what to do here.
so how much do you have knitted?
I'm on I have everything. I just have one more sleeve to do. I have to take this sleeve out now and finish the second sleeve, and then I'm on to the yoke.
Mm.
Well, if you're going to be knitting the sleeves shorter,
Yeah.
um, You really shouldn't run out of yarn. I mean, this
I
is,
what I have left. I have like nothing left. Nothing.
yeah, I'm not saying you didn't run
Yeah.
out of yarn. But I'm just saying that,
It,
you've made the sleeve way too long. You've
yeah.
made quite a few inches, so you're gonna claw back a bunch of yarn doing that. There's no other really good solution. You might want to, I mean, there's no real good solution that I can think of. You're going to need to, um, I mean, if you wanted to, you'd have to take it all apart though, and only knit with the new color on the garter stitch or something like that to make it the accent, because it will be different. There's
Which
no
take
getting around that.
smaller size. I'm not making it for anyone in particular. When I bought the kit, I was, but that baby is now 4 years old, so it's not for them. I'm just making it to have. So I guess I could take the whole thing apart and start over.
Yeah, you could. I mean, if you got the sleeves so much longer, it makes me wonder if some of the other parts of the sweater were also knit a little bit extra, either too long or whatever, that used up a bunch of yarn. You might, if you do that, and you do it mindfully to not over make it too long, make
Right.
things too long. You might find that you have enough yarn. I mean,
Yeah. I could. Well, when I take out the sleeve, we'll see how much I have there, but I don't know. I mean, I have like nothing left. And and I don't know.
and you still have one whole sleeve to knit.
I have a sleeve. Well, actually, that sleeve is not here right now. Here it is. Um, is almost done. It might be done actually if we're going to make it shorter.
Hmm.
It's just the yoke, so I don't know how much yarn that yoke
Oh, well,
takes.
that'll be fine then. If the yoke is a different color,
If do the yoke,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like a different dye lot or do a whole different color.
Well, I meant a different dye lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't do it a different color. I meant, but a different shade. I misspoke. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Well,
You don't even notice if it's different dye lot. Sometimes it's so close. I found that I happened to me in a blanket and
Yeah,
it was fine.
it depends. I've seen it where
yeah.
what you're saying, and I've also seen
Oh,
where it's totally different. And the person did it on their sleeves, so she was laughing. She goes, "It just looks like I have a stripe going on my sleeves." A different sweater. It was a different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you run out of yarn, you ran out too, Anita. I saw your message. So just message here.
It was
Here's
it
here's an
was
email that goes directly to me, and I'll get you some more yarn. Both of you, Lori and Anita. Okay?
Oh, thank you.
Uh-huh. Absolutely. Email that email though, because if you email the support email, I don't see those.
Oh, okay. All right, I
yeah,
will.
because I was gonna use this other pink that I had, but it's too stark.
Oh, no, 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 no. Well, and if you bought yours recently, Anita, there's a good chance we still
That's a
have
kit.
the
Yeah.
dye lot, so I
Okay.
wouldn't worry about that. Yeah, just email me.
Okay.
Sometimes the way people knit, I go by what the pattern tells people. What size were you knitting, Anita?
The smallest one, but I
Oh,
am
really?
I'm almost like a loosey goosey kind of a.
Yeah, because I'm knitting the smallest one, and I'm fine. I'm just kind of an average, not loose, not tight. So I think
I
if
just need a little bit more of it. That's it. I'm sure.
oh,
Yeah.
uh-huh, I see. Okay. Well, email me at that email, and I'll get both of you fixed up. And Lori, if you knit the yoke in a different dye lot, I don't think you're going to have any problems at all. I think that'll be cute, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the email info at TD?
Yeah, don't say it out loud because I'm recording this.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's just as you see it there.
Okay. I need stronger glasses. Okay, I got it.
Okay, okay.
Well, I'll give you girls a chuckle because I was starting the first sleeve and I was just, into a point where I could just keep knitting rows and it said continue straight until sleeve measures 15. And then it's all numbers all across the row. And I thought, oh, 15 inches. And I,
Oh, it's centimeters.
Oh my
oh
God.
dear.
We
All
got
of a
really
sudden I thought, this baby can't have arms this long because it was for the little size. So I undid that.
I know, and it's so much fun just to let's just knit straight. It feels
I
so good.
know.
And just make sure that, yeah, I would keep it. I mean, if I was doing it, I would keep it to like 9 inches. And I moved my measuring tape, and I can't remember what I did, but I know I didn't make mine the full 9.5 inches, and I think it's going to be just right. Um,
I
but
have
it's
a
so,
question, Pam.
yes, ma'am.
So since I'm new at doing a sweater, so just say like, because I'm doing the size 2 to 3. So like for instance, where the pattern says left front, using size 3 needles, cast on, how do I know how many to cast on for the size 2 to 3?
It's the
fourth
fourth
one.
one over, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
So you have to count. It'll be the fourth one over
from the
because it's
parenthesis, right? So like 49.
no, counting the first one. Counting it'll be because the first one is
Oh,
here. Let me make this small.
33. So
Yeah, the
45,
first the first one is 0 to 6. The second one is 6 to 12.
right?
Third one is 1 to 2, and the fourth one is 2 to 3.
Yes.
So the
So,
fourth
okay. So
actual number.
I see. So cast on 33. So it would be 1, 2, 3. I would be casting on 45.
Exactly.
I get it now. Okay. That was something I need a clarification on.
So everything you do is always the
The
fourth
fourth.
one or the third in from the pren, if you want to, or the bracket, if you want to think of it that way, whatever's easiest for you.
Thank you. Your help is amazing because this is the only way I'm going to learn.
Yeah, and yeah, it's a great way to learn. And rather than looking at it as oh, this is so hard, look at it as like you are, and like all of you ladies here are, and it's a way to increase your abilities to read a pattern, really, because
Thank you
the
so
the
much.
stitches are pretty basic, they're not really very hard. The actual stitches. Now,
No.
oh,
Yes.
go ahead.
Nope,
What
they
were you gonna?
are. I agree with you. The stitches aren't hard. It's more of the interpretation of learning how to read a pattern.
Hmm. And how to read this particular style of pattern. You know, U.S. We've become so wordy of course, I've been knitting forever, and we become so wordy in our patterns that, they're 9 pages long. There's and every little thing, and that's fine. Um, and I'm not saying there's anything necessarily wrong with that. I'm just saying that back in the day, this is how patterns were more written. I
Yes.
feel like they were more concise. They were printed in little magazines and little time. Remember? Maybe you don't remember. But it's good to know how to, and it uses your brain. It's good to know how to do something a little different, than
Hmm.
what you're used to.
Well, I
Now,
appreciate your time so much.
oh, it's my, excuse me, my pleasure. Um, Are there any other questions real quick? Because I wanted to kind of show you something a little bit maybe more next level. It's on the sweater and it's not necessary, but it's just something that I um, worked on this week for the sweater and wanted to share. So any other questions
Nope.
before? Okay. Um, so, you know, here, let me okay, I just saw you, Anita. Thank you. Let me switch the camera. Right. So sewing up, and we're not to that point yet, so that's why I expect, you guys are free to join uh some of those extra knit-alongs, and we can talk about this in more depth. But sewing up is part of making a neat looking sweater. And so I just did the mattress stitch on this, and it looks, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty smooth. I'm happy with it, and it's going to be cute. You turn it like that, block this out a little bit, and it's going to look nice, right?
What is the name of that stitch?
Oh, to sew it up, to use the mattress stitch.
This MATT?
Uh-huh, yeah, just like a mat. Yeah.
Okay.
But you look over here, and do you see the difference in this one? Do you see where there are kind of little stitches here
Yeah.
on the outside, and it just isn't as smooth? Now, it's not the end of the world, and it's not anything that you would say I can't give away, or it's not anything to be ashamed of. But if you want to take things to the next level, I was playing around, and that's why it's not even, is because I was playing around with different, these are decreases. I was playing around with different on the sleeve. I was playing around with different uh, increases and decreases. Um, and so one of the things that I found over here is I wanted to create increases that we're not at all creating a bump or a let's see, these are okay. Mm. Well, see, that didn't create this kind of a bump. Anyway, I came upon the, oh, now can we see it? Can we see it? Oh, it's not gonna, it doesn't like me. Hold on, I wanted to show you. I got out my book. Oh, it's not going to. Huh. Well, huh. Now I just completely broke the whole thing. So, okay. I'm not going to be able to show you. Let me see if I can switch this. Basically, write this increase down. I wanted to show it to you, but write it down, the lifted increase. There. Let's try it one more time. Yeah, yeah, it's not going to be very easy for me to show you. But basically, the increase involves when it says to increase at each end of the row. Um, oh, I'm kind of getting, I probably should have left well enough alone with this, but here, let's see. Obviously, you're not going to be doing it on the garter stitch edge, but to do this lifted increase, you you're ready to increase here, right? And sometimes you can take that bar and you do a make one right, or you do a make one right, or make one left, or you knit front back, or there are different ways to do increases. And this way is you you come up to the next stitch and you turn it so that you're seeing the back of that next stitch, and you pull that bump. It'll be a purl bump, and you pull that up on your right needle. Then you knit that stitch, pretend like I have a stitch there. You knit it, and I've knitted that. And now I'm left with the stitch, I pulled up the bump and knitted into it, and then I'm left with this stitch and I knit that. That increase, again, if you look it up on YouTube, you're going to forget it. That's not going to be enough for you to remember. But that lifted increase gives you the smoothest increase that will sew together nicely. Okay. So that's how I suggest you do the increases, and then how you do the decreases, you can almost see here. Now it's cooperating a little bit. Can you see? I'm afraid to move anything. Can you see how smooth that is? And there are no bumps.
Mm-hmm.
There are no this increase over here.
Yeah.
This is a bar increase. You can see there are little doohickeys there.
Yes.
And on now that it's showing, I can actually, then let's see, let's look at the make one. And the make one, see how it has these, I don't know why this is working now. This is lovely. See how it has those little marks? There are different kinds, and I just feel like this increase here just gives you that smoothest edge to where you can pull just the side when you go to sew it together. Where's my needle? Where'd it go? I want you to just take the stitch on the edge. It's going to be a little rolled, so you could go up here, but it's going to give you a really thick inside.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing, if you go up, if you stitch here, you're going to be taking a stitch and a half. So you're going to have a whole extra stitch on the inside of your sweater. But roll it over so that you see there's one stitch here. This is the first stitch, and sew it up there.
On the inside, in other words.
Right. Well, you will sew it up right sides together.
Right.
So you will pull up a stitch here, and then you will come over here and you will take one stitch, and then you will pull up a bar here, and you will, then go over. And I should have been set up to do this, but we're a little bit ahead of ourselves. But I just wanted to give you a little taste of a tutorial um, on how to do this, both in planning how neatly that it will go together by those increases and decreases. So here I've got one stitch right on the edge. So I take a bar. I'm going to skip the garter, so there's going to be a little bit of a skip there. So take a bar there, and then one stitch on the edge. If you look at it this way, it's really easy to just take a huge bite. Take that stitch on the edge. And make sure that you stay right on that. You can take 2 bars at a time. You got it set up. And I think I'm just going to take 1 bar over there. And you see how
Mm-hmm.
beautifully that's going to go together? And it won't be crazy thick
Thick.
on the inside.
Pam, can I ask you what book you're using to reference? Because that looks amazing.
It is amazing. It's the Vogue knitting book.
Oh, wow. I like that because, see, now that's helpful. Which volume is it?
I think it's their latest one. It's their latest ultimate knitting book.
Okay.
And yes, it's just fabulous. It just teaches you a multitude of things. Now, all of these I would say pretty much everything is on YouTube, but sometimes it's nice to just,
It's nice
you
to have a
know,
book in front of you, I think, to look at.
hmm
YouTube, I agree. Sometimes it's tricky. I would rather have a book.
yeah. Yeah, if you're serious about learning, learning I mean, there's so much to know about knitting. It's crazy. There's just a ton.
No, you're great. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Um, so anyway, I guess two things. I didn't plan this very well, so I apologize for that. I could have planned this a little better to show you, but the two things, when you're making your increases and decreases, think about um think about um what the stitch inside, the one inside of where you're increasing or decreasing, think about what that looks like, because that's what's going to show once you take those two little legs, that first stitch. Once you take that, whatever's left is going to show. Now, sometimes holes, like I was showing you the increases that had holes, well, sometimes that looks nice, and that's totally doable. What I'm telling you is not gospel for everything you do from here on out. You adapt things according to what you're feeling like, what you want to try out, what you want to learn, what you feel like might work well with the pattern. So just consider that when you're knitting it. Consider what it's going to look like when you start to try to seam it together.
Thank you so much.
Mhm. You're welcome. Okay, well, I've been kind of long-winded today.
Well, I'm going to sign off. Happy
Yep.
Saturday to all. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye, everybody. I'm gonna
Yes.
I'm gonna sign off here too.
Okay.
You
Thank
have
you.
my
Thank you.
email, Anita and Lori. I will get you hooked up with yarn. And Lori, I think it's going to be just fine with knitting the yoke with the new dye lot. I think that will actually be really pretty. And just add a little, you know, design uh, element to the sweater. And when you're done, you will have learned a lot on how to kind of step by step parse a pattern out. And the pattern really isn't difficult. It's just that you can't just read whole sentences at a time and figure it out. You really have to read just a few words at a time and figure it out. So, and it does make the cutest little sweater.
Yes. It will be so fun when it's all together.
Absolutely. So if everybody's done with their
Okay.
questions, we'll
Thank
say
you.
ciao for now. Have a good day.
You
Have a
too.
nice
Bye
one.
bye.
Bye-bye.